G'day, ladies and gentlemen. You're in the right place. This is where you'll hear the secrets of a networking ninja. I'm Jerry Fletcher, Networking Ninja. Now let me clear up one thing right away. The reason I'm called a networking ninja is that back in about 1993, I was talking with my friend Steve about how to identify myself as a speaker, particularly on products. He said, "Man, you are a killer networker. You ought to do something with that." Now, a week later, I called him and said, "Networking Ninja, what do you think?" There was a long pause, and then he said, "You're not teenage. You're not a turtle. But I'm not so sure about that mutant part." But I stuck with it. I've now spoken on 3 continents, and my speaking website is still www.networkingninja.com. Today I want to tell you some of the secrets to successful networking that has allowed me to build and maintain a consulting practice for the last 25 years, working with little guys. Small companies, just like yours. Before we get started, I want you to reach into your pocket or your purse, that special carrying case, or the inside pocket of your coat, wherever you carry them, and get out a business card. Pull out one of those 2 by 3.5 inch bits of pasteboard. Go on. I'll wait a moment. Now, I want you to take a look at the title on the card. Are you happy with it? Is there one that you would rather have? What would you like it to be? Let me tell you a story about a title. This is Marilyn. She's a client, and one of the reasons I'm familiar with the work that you guys do. She tells me that this is the king dancer pose. She uses it midway through a presentation to seniors. Since 2005, she's been providing assistance to the sandwich generation, those folks who are struggling to care for both their children and their parents. Her research has made it possible for all of us to age independently for a longer time. This Texas gal says, "Everything you can do to extend the time the aging can live independently is worth it to them, and they will strive for the light with a will that's indomitable." I helped Marilyn put together the marketing for her company, There For You. But most importantly, I helped her with her identity. We listened to the folks that were paying her to help and positioned her as the extra sister. She became the one running the errands, taking notes at doctor appointments, driving when old eyes and reflexes are no longer up to it. She became the one who could bring pride back to an older gentleman. Her signature story begins with, "Every eye in the club was on us as we entered. Me, a much younger woman, on his arm." The point here is that whether you run your own company, sell for one, or do both, understanding what that title can do to make you memorable is just one piece of the networking equation. Marilyn built a business by being a quality product. She became the extra sister. You're going to have to make your own opportunities. To do that, you need to understand the 7 secrets of a networking ninja. Any of you have kids? The reason I ask is that this process resembles a toy that my daughter had as a toddler. There was a kind of a rocker base with a cone centered on top of it, with a little ball at the top of the cone. A series of beveled rings in the colors of the rainbow stacked on the cone, but could only go on one way. If you started with the wrong ring, it would not go all the way to the base. Networking is like that. You can't do it out of phase. What are the phases? Well, here's where that business card will come in handy. If you want to take notes, you can put it to work right now. Jot these 7 steps down on the back of the card, and you'll have all the note-taking done. You'll be able to sit back and enjoy. You can put the card in your wallet or your purse for review when you're headed for a networking situation. So, here, without further delay, are the 7 secret steps of the networking ninja. Number 1, create an identity. Number 2, make contacts. Number 3, develop relationships. Number 4, provide introductions and leads. Number 5, offer assistance and help. Number 6, seek advice and counsel. And number 7, demonstrate your capabilities. Let me run through those one more time so that if you were jotting them down, you'll get a chance to make sure you got them right. And you'll be able to take a look here. Here we go. Number 1, the foundation. That's red. Create an identity. Number 2, the next one up is orange. Make contacts. Number 3 is yellow, develop relationships. Now green, provide introductions and leads, followed by blue, offer assistance and help. Then indigo, seek advice and counsel. And number 7, and finally, violet, demonstrate your capabilities. Let's start with creating an identity. Do you have one? How do you tell people who have never met you before how to remember you? This photo is from when I was doing a keynote in Colombia at a CRM conference. Back in the 90s, when I first became an expert in that arena, few, if any, small businesses would have known what CRM or even contact management was. Today, when I introduce myself, I say, "Hi, I'm Jerry Fletcher, CEO of Z-Axis Marketing. I'm a contact relationship magician." You know how companies want to keep better track of customers and prospects and to do drip campaigns to maintain customers and generate leads? What I do is start where the software stops to show you how to get everyone in the organization to use contact management and help you put together automated marketing that works. Now, did you notice that reaction that you had when I said contact relationship magician? Even if you've never heard of CRM, you want to know more. That is at the heart of 30-second marketing, which replaces all those tiresome elevator speeches, and it does it in a way that works. What it does is give you an answer to the question, what do you do? If you answer with your identity, you can start a conversation instead of doing a commercial. That conversation is at the heart of Ring 2, make contacts. First, you have to be where people gather. Then you have to introduce yourself. That's right. Introduce yourself. Don't count on someone doing it for you. It won't happen. Where can you make contacts? Better to ask where you can't. If you're willing to introduce yourself, it can happen anywhere. Try your Chamber of Commerce or your Rotary or Kiwanis. Just about any kind of club or association will expand your contact base. Now, in your business, you should look hard at speaking for any organization that provides services to seniors or to sandwich generation folks. But don't just meet continually with the same people. Try different organizations. Meet a lot of people. You'll find some that you want to develop a relationship with. Next comes developing relationships. That's the third ring, the yellow one. You have to work at it. To start with, do your homework. This can be as simple as remembering a spouse's name or reviewing the person's profile on LinkedIn. You want to understand that person and what's important to them. Is she an expert in environmental engineering? Does he believe in aging with dignity? What are their idiosyncrasies? Look into political, social, and religious affiliations. Whatever your purpose, gather data. Get your hands on that association directory. Talk to the person who referred you. Talk to competitors. Get a line on what is important to that person and learn more. Then it's time to get involved. Volunteer. Get on a committee. Run for office. Make something happen for an organization. If you're building a relationship with an individual, try social activities. Get to know each other as people. Establish credibility as your own person and create psychological closeness before you move on to business. And don't ever write them off. Why? The person who knows your identity, that you've built a relationship with, may not refer someone today, but when your abilities line up with the needs of someone close to them, the most connected get the business. 4 years after I opened my practice, Chuck, one of the 60 people I'd written to, sent me a client. Luck? A little, but it has a lot more to do with following Mom's advice. I provided him with introductions and leads over that 4 years. That's the green ring for those of you that are keeping track. In order to build your networking worth, you have to invest a little time in providing references. Give them freely. Call both the person you're referring as well as the one who would get the business. Get people together at a meeting. Make the referral a recommendation. Send a brochure off for a friend with a note that comments on her service. Practice being kind for no reason other than to be helpful. Like my mom used to say, what goes around comes around. That takes us to the blue ring. Offer assistance and advice. Let your contacts know that you came to help. Let me show you what I mean with a story. A couple years ago, well, more than a couple, I was a young hotshot sales guy, and I had a boss that was sort of, well, grizzled. That's the only word that describes Bob. He was a tough old galoot who'd seen it all, and he claimed seen it all at least 2 or 3 times. Anyway, one day he asked me what business is based on. I fired back, "Money!" He looked me up and down and sneered. "I thought you were smarter than that," he said. I responded with something really brilliant like, "Huh?" And old Bob explained it to me. He said, "Look, if I sell you something, you're going to get your commission, your 20%, right?" And then he said, "And if I sell you something, I'll get my 20%, right? But if I give you an idea you can use, and you give me one, then we each have doubled our worth." That is what business is about. Old Krusty Bob was right. You've got to actively help people in your network. Mentor someone. Give away what you know. Provide the help that folks need. It won't be a waste of time. It's the best way I know to move on to the indigo ring. Secret step number 6 is seek advice and counsel. I learned this from a client who was and is one of the top 20 certified financial planners in the USA. She told me one day, "One of the things I've been doing lately is sending packets to the local offices of the big 6 CPA firms, as well as some of the independents, asking them to just quickly read through the materials and give me a verbal critique. Only if they have the time and if it won't get in their way." "It's amazing," she said. "They all take a look and they commented, and then they referred business to me." She had stumbled into a mysterious phenomenon that lies at the heart of networking. This enigma will save you time while saving you money, and it's so simple that most people just don't see it. People like to help. That's right. People like to help, but they must be approached properly. In order to enlist their aid, you have to do these things. First, let them know you need help. That's not that difficult. All you have to do is say so. Then let them off the hook. That too is easy, because all you have to do is tell them if they can't help, well, you'll be more than happy if they can just, give it a good thought. Let them know you appreciate it. Someone takes action for you and tries to help you, let them know that you appreciate what they've done for you. Let them do as little as possible. Make it easy for them so that they don't have to break a pick just to do some kind of favor for you. Then let them know what happened. How often has someone asked you to do something and you never found out what happened because of it? Let them know what happened. And then let them hear you say, "Thank you." For starters, you have to ask for help. Now, I know it's hard for some of you, but think about it this way. What if someone says to you, "I need a little help"? How do you respond? Would you be more inclined to consider helping if I told you that if you can't for any reason, there's no problem? You bet you would. Especially when I say, "I would really appreciate it." Once you agree, I'll make it easy for you. I'm going to ask you to do as little as possible. If there's detail work, I'll do it. If it requires some computer time, I'll log on. Need letters? I'll type them. Phone calls? I'm your man. And I'll tell you with progress reports all along the way. Regardless of success or failure, I'm going to say thanks. The best networkers I know say thank you demonstratively before the activity or the situation is over, sometimes before it even starts. That's the way you get some help. The added benefit is that by bringing someone else into a situation, you build your credibility. The final step in developing your skills as a ninja networker is to demonstrate your capabilities. Now, I know it's only natural to want to make a sale. That's okay. But remember to sell what your contact wants to buy. If you know them, provide a small piece of advice or a minor item that demonstrates your capabilities and develops the relationship. If it's for an organization, use your skills or your craft knowledge to make the offering better. It all comes down to this. Who would you rather do business with? A stranger or a friend? Most people would rather deal with a known quantity, a friend they may already have done business with, people they've stayed in touch with on a regular basis, people I like to call appreciating assets. Now, appreciating assets will send you business, get you promoted, help you grow, refer you to a colleague, and do the one thing that only networking can do so effectively: put other people to work marketing you. Caring enough to stay in touch is a way to say, I appreciate you. Responding immediately when referred is a way to become referred by yet one more person. That's the way networking assets appreciate, one contact at a time. Businesses, careers, and lives of joy are all built one contact at a time. One contact plus another and yet another until you have a crowd. And as P.T. Barnum said, behind every crowd is a silver lining. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen today. I do appreciate it.